Watch till the end. You won't want to miss the shocking and satisfying ending. When the movie starts, we see a girl named Alice twisting her hair with her fingers as she goes toward a bar where her two friends, Tess and Sophie, are waiting for her. Alice has a very serious look on her face, but we do not know why yet. She and her friends are at a bar where they are ordering drinks and food during a rare hangout. The waiter at the bar keeps looking at Alice in a way that gets noticed by Tess and Sophie, who are happy to see boys interested in their friend. Tess and Sophie then tease Alice about the waiter, telling her that he is interested in her. Alice has a boyfriend named Simon, and even when she is with her friends, she keeps checking her phone because Simon keeps texting her. Their relationship does not seem to be a good one. Are you enjoying this video? Click that sexy subscribe button. You would be helping me continue to create more sexy movie recaps just like this for you. Simon is a very successful artist, and many people are familiar with his work, so he has already become a big deal among artists in the country. There will be a gallery opening where Simon will show off many of his works. Alice goes on to invite both her friends to the opening, and Tess and Sophie go on to tell her that they will be there for her. Sophie then tells Tess that they can go to her place for the whole week and party their butts off for 7 long days because her parents are not going to be there. She then goes on to ask Alice if she is going to be able to make it, and Alice tells her that she will try her best, but she cannot say anything for sure. It is implied that Alice met Simon in Tess's circle, but despite Simon's connection to Tess, he seems to be removing her from her friends. Sophie proposes that they should celebrate Tess's birthday at her parents' house up north. Alice is loving this hangout, but there is something that keeps distracting her. She goes on to receive another message, which is presumably from her boyfriend. She then tells Tess and Sophie that she has to leave right away, and just like that she's gone on. She, however, goes to the bathroom first and takes a picture of her cleavage to send to her boyfriend. She seems really worried and lost even when she is in her car, and finally makes it back home. She keeps twisting her hair whenever she is alone, and she always seems to be worried and lost. When she gets home, she finds a note in her pocket on which a phone number has been written. It is presumably from that waiter at the bar, but she does not want to get in trouble with her boyfriend, so she goes on to wash that paper first, and then throws it away. She then gets undressed and hits the shower. While she is in the shower, she too cannot think about that later, and as she stands in front of the mirror, she imagines that waiter standing right behind her, but it only turns out to be your boyfriend Simon, who ends up startling her. They then make their way to the bedroom, and it seems like Simon is a really controlling guy, and she is scared of him too. When the morning comes, she wakes up before Simon does. She goes on to make her hair right away and puts on some makeup so that she looks presentable to him when he wakes up. When they are about to go to work, they take a walk together, and Simon goes on to enter a bakery. Alice tells him that he was the one who said they were going to cut back on sugar, but he says that it is just this time, and that they will definitely cut back on sugar after this. Alice keeps twisting her hair all the time when Simon is standing in the bakery. She starts thinking about what Sophie said about spending the whole week at her parents' house. She is now trying to come up with an excuse to give her boyfriend so that he will let her spend the week at her parents' house. Alice finally comes up with a plan. She decides to tell Simon that she is going to be away for the weekend for a whole week. When Simon comes out of the bakery, she tells him that she is going on a work trip to Minneapolis for the whole week. She does not even mention a friend. They later go to Simon's art gallery opening, where Simon keeps acting like a possessive and controlling partner. Sophie also goes to the opening, and Abel is there. Simon then tells Alice that they are leaving right away, and Alice tells Sophie that she must leave right away. She also tells Sophie that she will see her tomorrow because she is coming to the cottage with her. When they get home, Simon is very upset because he does not think his opening was a success. He says that no one came to his opening, but Alice tries to reassure him that there were actually a lot of people there. Sophie and Alice get in their car and drive to the cottage. It is clear that Alice is still lost because she keeps getting texts from her boyfriend and cannot hang out with her friend the way she should. while Tess and Sophie are listening to music and having fun. Alice sits quietly in the back seat because she is too busy reading the texts that her boyfriend keeps sending her. When he is not texting her, he is staring at her. Tess and Sophie are also worried about her. They ask her if she is okay, but she just tells them to keep going. The three of them make a quick stop at a convenience store where Alice sees a flyer for a missing girl named Andrea. The missing person case seems to be taking over Alice. The three of them get what they need from the store and keep going. After a while, they get to their destination, which is a beautiful place for a vacation, but they notice that Alice still cannot stop thinking about her boyfriend. They have gone to that place for a vacation. Are you enjoying this video? Click that sexy subscribe button. You would be helping me continue to create more sexy movie recaps just like this for you. But Alice is still not present with them at all. Simon again goes on to text her at 2 in the morning, and she again takes close-ups of her body and sends them to Simon. When the morning comes, she makes her way out to jog, which is part of her morning routine. And as she jogs, she listens to a podcast. She then goes to sit by a lake where everything is just so pleasant. Despite everything being so pleasant around her, she is not able to get her mood to be as pleasant. When she is sitting by the lake, she is approached by 2 policemen who have been looking for a missing girl named Andrea. They ask her if she has seen that girl Alice, however tells them that she has not seen the girl, and they leave. They then try to play games, but Tess is yet again lost. She keeps receiving texts from Simon. When they are playing Scrabble, she is not able to focus. We see her receiving constant text messages from her boyfriend. He is always controlling her and psychologically abusing her by insulting her openly, despite knowing the fact that it is having a very bad effect on Alice's mental health. He is always in control of her, which is why he happens to know everything about her. He is at times so freaky that she has started wondering whether he can read minds. She acts very strangely the whole time they are on the trip. She even fights with her best friends and is very rude to them. When they are eating sweets, she eats very strangely and makes weird faces, which freaks out her friends. She defends Simon even when her friends try to tell her that he might not be the right guy for her, even though they still do not know the whole story. Alice acts so strangely that she tells her friends about her body parts, which scares both of them to death. She then joins a group looking for a lost girl, Andrea, but she does not succeed. She acts strange again when she starts hacking wood out of the blue. Her friends start to wonder what is wrong with her because she was not like this before. Sophie says that these two do not know about something that is going on, and they want to know what it is. Alice still will not tell them the truth about how she got to be in this state while they are there. Simon finds out where they are by looking at Tess's Instagram posts. He is angry that Alice lied to him, so he calls Alice right away and tells her to leave and come back to him. Allison tells her friends that she has to cut the trip short, which they do not understand. She tells them that she has to go back to Simon because he loves her so much. Alice packs up, but as she is about to leave, she gets a call from Simon. Tess then hides her phone and wallet while Sophie goes to the store as an excuse for Tess and Alice to spend time together. When Tess tries to teach Alice how to paddleboard on the lake, she jokes about rocking the board, which causes Alice to fall off and lose her earring, which was a gift from Simon. In a panic, Alice dives down to try to find the earring, but she cannot find it. When she gets back to the shore, she has Tess ask right away about Alice's health. Alice changes her mind about leaving, and the next morning she joins the search party for Andrea again. Now that she does not have her phone, she starts to feel much better because she is not being pressured. She spends quality time with her friends the way it is supposed to be, and she starts to feel much better. While looking for the missing girl near an abandoned cottage, Alice finds lipstick and thinks it belongs to Andrea. They then go to the cottage. Alice starts to be more honest with her friends. At one point, she tells them that Simon has never hurt her physically, but later she admits that he has hurt her emotionally. Alice stops answering Simon's messages, which makes him even angrier. That night, at a very tense dinner, He shows up unannounced with grocery bags. He pulls out a newspaper to show that the body of the missing girl has finally been found. Alice takes out her lipstick and tells Simon what she thinks about it. As he always does, Simon tries to shut her up in a condescending way because he likes to insult her. The next morning, Alice packs and leaves the cottage, which surprises her friends. On the way to the main road, Simon stops his car at a junction to let a long line of cyclists pass, so if he catches up with the car and breaks the back windshield with a malleable iron, he can still get away with it. Alice gets out of the car and looks at Sophie, telling her friend that she does not want to go with Simon and that she is afraid to go back with him. Simon wants Alice to get back in the car, but she refuses. Tess steps between Simon and Alice, which makes Simon give up. He walks back to the car and angrily throws Alice's things out before driving away. In the last scene of the movie, Alice rides a paddleboard and then jumps into the lake like the free spirit she has become. In Alex Ladomas' room, today she marries Alex Ladomas, despite his family's history of abuse. She is resented by family members who think she wants their money. Grace longs to marry Alex and have children. Alex promises to cancel before the wedding. Grace kisses him, reassuring him. Grace's garden wedding photos followed. Here, the odd Ladomas clan includes creepy Aunt Helene and rude Uncle George. Daniel's elder brother and sister-in-law are Tony and Becky. After meeting most of the supporting actors, we may continue the story. The joyful couple enters the ceremony. After drinking, they rest in Daniel's room. Are you enjoying this video? Click that sexy subscribe button. Grace thought they could spend some time alone, but just as she did, Aunt Helene's appearance confirms the clan's arrival. Alex, feeling Grace's confusion, explains the Ladomas family's habit to legally adopt a new family member at 12 in the morning following the wedding. Grace, the newcomer, must play a game with the family, honoring the Ladomas family's pioneering board game enterprise. Grace appears excited. She joins the family in the music room. Becky, Alex's mother, urges Grace to convince him to stay faithful to the clan and take his position at the family's helm. Ladomas' dominance, familial legacy. Grace accepts, confused. Emily, Alex's sister, uses crack. Besides her opportunist husband Fitch and their 2 new children, Tony Ladomas prepares the youngsters for the game after a servant tucks them in. Chamber discusses game rules and family history. In sum, they think Mr. LaBelle gave their grandfather, Victor Ladomas, a supernatural artifact box. After this, Mr. Giantfort gave a lot to Ladomas. In honor of Mr. LaBelle, they play games with this box when they come together. Anticipating a newborn. Inserting a blank card and following the guidelines is simple. To the box, where Mr. LaBelle selected the evening's game. Grace should read the card now. Alex's face and environment change. Grace, who is blissfully unaware of her destiny, is instructed to hide. Everyone else should count to 100 and play hide and seek. Tony Ladomas convinces her they are going to deactivate surveillance equipment as they value ritual and don't recreate the old gameplay. Grace retreats into shadows as Alex's family buys vintage guns. Alex searches the gaming area as Grace hides in the dumbwaiter. Torn, stay in the room as the family searches for Grace. Alex's escape is Charity's responsibility. Charity was unaware. Alex will escape via the maid's wing. After entering the home, Charity finds Alex gone. The dumbwaiter is agitating Grace. She escapes a servant hunting for a child who slipped out of bed at night. But then, Alex rescues her before the servant searching for the missing child arrives. Even so, Emily shooting and killing the maid devastates Grace. Ladomas clan probes, body and scold Emily for killing the bridesmaid. They remain till the family removes the body. Alex hastily blames Grace for everything, playing hide and seek with the family and persuading them to kill Grace before sunrise, or misfortune would strike. Infiltrating the maid's chamber. Grace balls, Alex acknowledges that he misjudged her ability. The card is unlikely. He told her he preferred life. He believed he could console Grace by living with her unmarried. He proposed since he knew she desired a serious relationship. He will honor her trust. He tells her to use the kitchen while he uses the bathroom. Security office to unlock all doors. Grace vows to remove her wedding dress skirt to help her go down the aisle. After this corridor, she chooses the left door. She turns around and rushes back to frightened Emily, who fires blindly. Grace avoids the errant gunfire. Grace tries to go but discovers no escape. She cowers against the wall, desperate, and suddenly, Alex's brother Daniel calls. He gladly passes by her and snatches the billiard table booze. He promises not to hurt her. Need the gang to seize her. Grace escapes as Daniel yells. After counting, each family member enters the research to find. Naturally, Grace fled the premises. A maidservant surprises Emily, mistakenly kills her again. Helene Ladomas, exasperated, says that they only have murder Grace till dawn. Becky advises ditching the ritual to save time, using surveillance cameras. They agreed to split. Grace gets a firearm in the arcade. She awaits Alex's kitchen door opening. Grace disappears as the butler enters. Alex penetrated the control room and restarted the cameras. He cannot open the doors. Grace gingerly reloads the shotgun while concealed. As the maid serves tea, Alex unlocks locks using codes. Grace is behind the butler when he hears this, readying the shotgun. She fires, but nothing happens. Butler casually shares. The ammunition is for display only. The teapot strikes him. Tony Ladomas, Alex's father, knocks and bangs on the door. Alex attempts to sabotage the security camera's control panel. Tony rushes in to assault Alex, but Alex easily defeats him. After calming down, Alex begs Daniel to help Grace. Before Daniel responds, Grace anxiously searches the passageways for a hiding place. She finds a scared maid or butler in the dumbwaiter. The servant hurries forward and shouts Grace's whereabouts. The dumbwaiter button, killing the servant. Grace, run again. We find Alex still unconscious in his bedroom, handcuffed to the bed. Alex's Aunt Helene believes he will change. He can help his sweetheart after he discovers he is the future Ladomas leader. Grace listens from the window. She jumps, landing lightly in the woods. Are you enjoying this video? Click that sexy subscribe button. She sprints outside. If a spotlight is seen, she hides in a barn. Georgie, Emily's only child. Finally, Grace appears, but Grace knocks the youngster unconscious in her rage. The goat zaps her. Ditch out. Grace sees dead corpses. She hobbles up, gagging at the stink. As she nears the top, the ladder collapses. To grasp her injured hand, she touches a nail. Despite the pain, she climbs out of the ditch and walks. She removes her sleeve to bandage her hand. Charity shot her as she fled the barn but missed. She then tells the butler where Grace is. Grace approaches the barrier and sees a car coming. Screaming for help, she escapes. The car drives off as she departs. Grace runs into the woods as a car leaves the Ladomas driveway. Turns out, the butler immediately informs his employer of Grace's absence. Tony Ladomas and his family have realized they will all die unless Grace is killed before morning. Unlike his siblings, much to Dad's dismay, Daniel rejects such superstition. He enters and Tony suspects his son Daniel's loyalty following a fight. Alex Ladomas wakes up and struggles to unlock the door. Daniel and Emily remove the dead servants from the barn. In a talk with Daniel, Emily disagrees that the family deserves to perish. Grace has emerged from hiding and is rushing across a field. When the butler arrived, Grace must be brought in alive. He fights her outside the car. She suffocates him with a shredded shirt. She drives away. Grace calls 911 for police help while driving. The operator fulfills her request and informs her that the car is broken. Since her automobile was stolen, corporate regulations prohibit her from driving it. Suggests he must stop her driving. The car stops. Grace relaxes, finding comfort in the idea that 911 was called and police are coming. Even so, after waking up, the butler jabs Grace with sedatives, knocking her asleep. The butler wakes Grace while driving and video chatting with her family. Grace repeatedly hits him in the head, knocking him out and wrecking the car. She survives. Daniel approaches her after arriving, by shotgun. He wants to rescue her, but is too weak. Against his family, she strives to debunk the curse. Nobody died overnight. Daniel regrets knocking her unconscious. Tony appears. Tony had secretly followed Daniel here to see them. Daniel's loyalty test. Becky, Alex's mom, visits him in shackles. Stated she is convinced he will quit helping Grace and help the family. Alex says he would fight for Grace as long as she is nice. He is not crazy like his family. The family is preparing for Grace's ritualistic murder by LaBelle. Grace awakens constrained at the table as her family performs a satanic ritual. They share a chalice. Tony stabs Grace. What then? Daniel may have poisoned his family for Grace. He unbinds her and walks her away. Alex escapes the bedroom. Charity, Daniel's wife, stops them from fleeing in the halls. Someone points a firearm at them. Grace, knowing Daniel would keep her, Charity's neck shot kills him. Grace, furious, confronts. Charity knocks her out before checking on life-supporting Daniel. He releases her after Grace keeps going. Tony Ladomas, the father, confronts her. She grabs a lamp, knocks him out, and throws it, ground and fleeing. Alex searches for Grace but discovers his dying brother. He grieves as Daniel dies in his arms. Grace fights Becky, the mother, in the dining room. Grace murders her by beating her in the head. When Alex arrives, Alex reaches out to Grace, distressed. After her mother and brother died, Alex was enraged and changed her life. Sides, the family is preparing to redo the ritual. They were unaware that the bulb started the fire. Throughout the estate, Alex tries to stab Grace in the chest when they hold her on the dining room table. Grace swerves and escapes. She has a sunny window, signaling dawn and their end. Other clan members dread the curse and scream in sunshine. Ladomas appear fine. Aunt Helene insists Grace be executed. She bursts with an axe. After Helene, all Ladomas died. Randomly explodes. Grace giggles uncontrollably as Alex approaches like a scared child. Seeking comfort, Grace already dislikes. She wants a break from him. A blurry guy briefly emerges at the table. Mr. LaBelle. Bloody, dirty. Grace smokes on the porch after leaving the burning house. I do not know, she says when the cops arrive. Watch till the end. You won't want to miss the shocking and satisfying ending. The film opens with 28-year-old Lucy Hutton at her desk at Bexley and Gaiman Publishing. The co-CEOs, Helene Pascal and Richard Bexley, are assisted by Joshua Templeman. Lucy says her hatred of Joshua Templeman is her most significant trait. Lucy Hutton dislikes Joshua Templeman. After Josh, her archenemy, entered a race, Lucy did something at work. Both assistants dislike and distrust each other. Lucy is thinking about how to beat Joshua at work and how she can handle everything. And she looks at Joshua and thinks that all he wears is blue. She counts the days in her head and sees that he has worn light blue. Are you enjoying this video? Click that sexy subscribe button. You would be helping me continue to create more sexy movie recaps just like this for you. T-Blue, Medium Blue, and Savoy Blue. She is disturbed by the thought that she should hate him and gets back to work in the next scene. Smiles because neither of them wants the other to win. At that moment, she thought of how she could defeat him, and all she could think about was him. and she wanted him to regret messing up with her, just like his work and behavior messed up her mind. So she started making plans and thinking about how to make certain plans work after intensifying her rivalry with Josh. Lucy returns. She contacts her mother after a Josh-related sexual fantasy. Her mother encourages her to locate a guy if she is going out for the weekend. Lucy claims she is going out with friends, so her mother wonders why she is not going out with that workman she always brags about. Lucy sleeps to figure out why she thinks about Josh. She awakens from a Josh-related sexual dream. She dresses for work to attract him. Short black dress. Josh sees her, grins, and asks if she has a date. She informs him that she has a date. She lies again to Joshua about her destination. Lucy feels worse when Josh says he is heading there too. He asks her whether anybody from the workplace is present, but she is dressed to impress Josh. Lucy walks downstairs and begs Josh, who secretly loves Lucy's designer, Danny, to go out with her since he does not believe her in the black dress. She walks to the cafe when Josh asks if she wants a ride. Josh looks at her high heels and warns her that walking in them may damage her delicate tiny feet. Lucy is furious until she sees him. Josh kisses her in the elevator when they meet. Both exit the elevator. Josh takes her off to a cafe, where Danny awaits. Lucy refuses Josh's umbrella since it is pouring and leaps out of the vehicle. Josh ruins Lucy's night. Danny, but she thinks about the kiss while going to the restroom. She rants at Josh for spoiling her night and obsesses about how men can exploit her. He compliments her black clothing. Josh says he is going to return her luggage. That night, he insists on accompanying her to her date, which she is shocked to adore, but she still goes out with Danny and is upset with Josh for spoiling her night. The next day, she searches Joshua's desk for evidence. She cannot decipher his day planner codes. Lucy's mailman gives her a Smurf. Lucy checks Joshua's desk after he tells her she worries too much about others' opinions. Joshua mocks her Strawberry Farm upbringing, making her homesick and lonely. "You are always gorgeous" is written on her flowers the following day. She believes Danny sent her the flowers and is pleased at work. She agrees to forget the kiss from the night before when Josh asks. She replies, "Why do not we just play?" Josh interrupts and tells her that she is dull and that he has always gotten raises with paintball game plans. "Okay, let us play a gun game," Lucy replies after a glimpse of Josh choking to death. Lucy and Josh paintball. Josh's plan is implemented the following day, and everyone at work plays paintball to bond. Lucy appears pale before the game, and Josh examines her and says she is burning, but she ignores him and plays. Josh hides his concern as Lucy vomits on him. He takes her home when she is terribly ill. Joshua gets her home. He remains because no one else can care for her. She urges him to go, but he calms her, and she vomits up again. Since Josh's family are physicians, he calls his brother to check on Lucy. Josh's brother advises him to relax and gives Lucy medication. Joshua asks Patrick, his medical brother, to look at Lucy. Are you enjoying this video? Click that sexy subscribe button. You would be helping me continue to create more sexy movie recaps just like this for you. Patrick gets Joshua to attend the wedding with Lucy. Joshua beds Lucy after the wedding. Josh cooks and cleans her home the following morning, so she does not dislike him. Josh leaves after Lucy urges him not to use such techniques against her at work. Danny accompanies Lucy to her workplace with flowers. After Danny departs, she notices strawberry juice on her table, something she informed Joshua Knight she required while unwell. Joshua spends extra time with Lucy since she is ill. Lucy knows she likes him. Joshua is furious when he kisses her on the cheek and urges her to suffer that night. She discovers Josh gave her the flower earlier in the week when she finds the juice and card on the table. She regrets telling everyone that Danny gave her all the roses. She asks Josh whether she may repay him by attending his brother's wedding. She tears up when he refuses. Danny and Lucy kiss, but Lucy feels nothing, so they remain friends. After crossing paths on the sidewalk, She and Joshua kiss on his street after she says no one can kiss her like him. He tells her he will not have sex with her because he needs more time. She hangs up on Joshua. Joshua, after work, he calls her back and suggests she stay at his apartment. Joshua touches her again without kissing her. Joshua informs Mr. Bexley that he does not require aid in unseating Lucy for the position since he feels exploited. Joshua is furious when he meets Danny for coffee to discuss her interview presentation. Joshua instructs Danny to bring her weekend bag to work the day they depart for the wedding. Lucy worries about what Joshua and Mr. Beckley are fighting over after overhearing them. Lucy and Joshua play and discuss their attraction on the way to the wedding. Lucy tells Joshua that she had a sexual dream about him and had to negotiate her way out of that first date with Danny because she lied about seeing someone. Joshua and Lucy are having fun at the hotel when Joshua's mother, Helene, calls for wedding decorating assistance. Joshua returns to Lucy sleeping. Joshua tells Lucy that ladies first attracted him for his appearance, but moved on to a wonderful person after getting to know him. Joshua. The wedding guests were unhappy. Lucy discovers that Mindy, the bride, was Joshua's ex-girlfriend. She was probably his rent-a-date. Elaine informs Lucy that she is different from everyone else. Joshua convinces Lucy to stay by saying he does not need Indy's moral support. Instead, his father, Anthony, shattered his heart and sought help. She had her finest sex that night. They had sex again in the shower during the wedding breakfast the following morning. Lucy defends Joshua and praises him to Anthony. Joshua and Lucy return to town. Joshua claims they have always been in love. His bedroom was painted with Lucy's eyes. Lucy gives flattered when she sees that painting, and at that moment Josh tells her that he loves her and wants to end the fights and get together, but Lucy gets weird about it and says that work will come in between, so Josh calms her down and asks her to relax and not think about anything else but them. So they both agree to start over that night. The next day, Lucy overhears and misinterprets a conversation between Josh and their boss, including that Josh has been using their romance to distract her from the promotion. Enraged, she vows to beat Josh for the job. She goes back to Danny and talks about how she believes that Josh is telling the truth and thinks he loves her. Still, the truth is he does love her, and all he can think about is Lucy, only that there is a plan, and he was pretending about that conversation with CEO. So after a tough competition, everyone is gathered in the hall, and as Lucy goes there, she thinks that Josh has become the new operation director, but instead informs her that he is switching positions and that she will take over as Bexley and Gannon's new CEO. In the end, she is on a call and is arguing about her writers with someone. It turns out that on the phone is Josh, and he is taking her out on a date. They kiss,